Okay, welcome to Team Call Tuesday. It is August, if you can believe it. I can't. I keep thinking it's July. So, what, baby? It's August 6th, and we are in the beginning launch of Morning Meltdown 100. And the only real announcements I have are that one, if you've never made Success Club and you make Success Club 5 this month, you get the Jericho bobblehead, which is like, hold on, Candy, come on. I'm like, only have to talk for 2 seconds. I have the Joel and the Sagi. I hate him. They're dusty. One day when I have like an office, I'm going to have them all up. I really wish they would redo an autumn one. She's like the only, or Shanti, I would die. No, you can't have them, baby. So anyways, but that's a really cool prize. And they don't like redo that clearly because I've been waiting for them to redo autumn, and she's had like 10 new programs come out. So definitely hustle because Success Club is awesome, but that's a fun prize. And then if this is your first month getting Success Club, you'll get your t-shirt and your bobblehead. If you have made Success Club, you have to push yourself. Stop. Now. Stop. You have to push yourself and hit Success Club 10, which is all doable from all the action that I'm seeing everybody, the numbers that you guys are putting out on your daily accountability. Okay, Cammie, I'm going to have to mute and scream at you in a second. So, just kidding, Julie. Don't always yell at my kids. What? You want me to turn it off? Okay, in a second. Also, promo codes. So use your promo codes. It's such an amazing gift and such an easy way to slide into someone's DM and be like, I know you weren't ready. I think you might be ready. I have a $10 off coupon for you, kind of a promo code. I say a coupon. I don't know if that's like appropriate, but a $10 off code for you. And that right there at least opens the door to so many conversations where we can help people and get them into Morning Meltdown 100, because I don't know about you guys, but this program is amazing. I'm liking it way more than I thought I would, because I was kind of nervous because I liked Quarter Force, but I just wasn't sure. I just always am so nervous. And I loved Transform 20. I loved all of them. It's just before I get nervous, because you don't know, you just commit to these things and you're like, okay, here we go, I'm going to do it. And I really didn't believe that the DJ's music would be good. I didn't. I was like, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm loving it. I'm actually super, super, super sore. But I think this program, especially with the comboing that some of us have going on, like either just 100 days of consistency or 100 days of gratitude, all of these things can really make a huge impact in people's lives. So I'm so excited for the fall. I'm so excited for us. And Brett and I are going to be coming live in the next little bit and talking about some retreats we want to plan, and an elite retreat, and the kind of the qualifications for that, because as an elite team, it's not just the diamonds who make an elite team, even though that is important, of course. So we have to be a 5-star diamond team. But everyone who's a discount coach, who's hitting Success Club, these are all how you get to elite. And so we want to make some requirements and qualifications, and then do a freaking elite treat in the beginning of the 2020. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking at my calendar. And then besides that, next Monday or this weekend, I'm going to do on the Coach Boldly. When I say I mean anybody who wants to participate with me, a 1-day sneak peek, like nothing crazy, and then I have actually some post ideas that I'm going to put up in the team page probably while Rachel's talking, just because I'm here at the computer, about some ideas of how you can talk about coaching before you feel you've quote unquote made it, like the benefits. Sometimes we think, well, I haven't hit a financial goal yet, so I can't share my income, or I haven't hit this goal yet, or I haven't hit this goal. And so I just it's just a list of a bunch of kind of just a brainstorming list of ways you can share how coaching has impacted you to start inviting the coaching. Because if you wait to start inviting, if in your mindset you're like, oh, I'll talk about coaching when I get there, you're never going to kind of get there. And I say that lovingly, but you have to kind of get your beginning people to just come with you and be like, hey, this is going to be really great. I have made you know, a $50 paycheck, which like totally got my nails done. It was so awesome. And I loved earning that money and it was so great. But I really think that I could be making X amount, you know, and just talk about that vision, so that you can help grow your team and our team, and so we can just hit some really awesome goals. It's just so exciting. And I'm talking really fast because I want to get to Rachel. So I'm going to give Rachel a little bit of an intro. So Rachel is going to be talking tonight. And I told her, I didn't really give her a topic. I just said, like, I want you to just talk about what you think you should talk about, which I think that is easier for someone to just let it flow, the passion. But Rachel and I started connecting on Instagram last year. And she said no to me for a really long time, you guys. So keep asking. And she watched my stuff, and I also just really connected with her. Like we enjoyed having conversations for sure. And we would like kind of go back and forth about parenting. She sent me a screenshot, or did I send you a screenshot? I don't even know. No, I took a screenshot. I found, I was going through my pictures, and when someone makes a comment on my stories and I want to remember to like talk to them, I'll screenshot the comment so I remember. And she commented that my kids never have clothes on and she loves it. And I you know, was like, that was my note to myself. But then Rachel was like, you know what, and we talked about price for a long time, and we broke it down and I explained it to her. So when people have questions, don't think that's a negative thing. They really just want to understand what they're purchasing. And so Rachel came in and did Transform 20 and just kicked ass, honestly. And then she was like, is there a way I can get a discount on these shakes? And I was like, yeah, but girl, I really think you should be a coach. And she was like, well, we'll see. Let's just start with the discount. And then I don't know, within like 10 days, she messaged me and was like, okay, I think I want to do this. So I'm just going to give her the floor. Ultimately, she has been learning and tweaking and learning and tweaking. And then this last month, she made Success Club, which is such an amazing thing. And we should all be so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. And I just told her that we want to hear her tips and all of the things that people who are hustling need to hear. So go for it.
Okay, I was like, I can't unmute. First thing real quick, my internet might be a little bit crazy. So if I'm frozen, will you message me, or Sam at least text message me and be like, lady, your stuff is screwed. And then, yes, so true what Sam said. I don't know. She said something to me, or maybe I said something to her. I don't know who initiated our original conversation, but my thought was, oh God, she's going to ask me to be in her like stuff, which is so funny because I'm so glad she did. But she didn't come right out and be like, I don't know how she asked. It was something about like, she did ask me specifically, are you already rocking a fitness program? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to the gym, I was struggling to make it to the gym maybe once a week, maybe. But anyway, so there's that. So I'll give you guys just a little quick background on me, and then I'll tell you what I have written down. I was going to do slides, but I didn't. So I am a mom of two. My background is actually marketing. It's what I went to school for. It's what I did for a long time. And then 5.5 years ago, 6 years ago, I started to do a contract for my mother-in-law, and I went and just did basically like freelance marketing on my own. And so I kind of bring like marketing into this because I love it. I still have a passion for it. But then a year and a half ago, I decided to break my contract with my mother-in-law and go out on my own and just work on blogging. And so I created this blog, and if you see me, you see Tired as a Mother blog. It's because I have an actual blog. There are like tons of articles. I can't believe how many I've written. It's like 80 something articles in like a year and a half. So that's kind of my background. When I came in and I decided I did want to be a coach, that's exactly what happened. Sam said it exactly perfectly. I was like, okay, how do I get these shakes cheaper? And yeah, it was just a handful of days. And I was like, I love this. And my husband was like, he's the most skeptical Jewish man. Now that we're on this kick, he is Weinstock. I mean, could you? Anyways, and he was like, I think you should do it because just in a few weeks, Transform 20 had changed my life. And so why not talk about it? It gives me goosebumps to just say that. Like, it's incredible. So I kind of stumbled and fell for the first couple of months, not really sure, like, oh yeah, I'm inviting. No, I wasn't inviting. I wasn't doing the things. And I wasn't being consistent. So I kind of wanted to make my call about consistency, because I've figured out that consistency is like the key to all of this. So first, if you haven't seen the live that I did in the team page months ago, I had watched a webinar and somebody defined consistency, and they defined it as doing something at regularly scheduled intervals. So it is not perfection. If you're showing up and you're working out every week, and you're working out sometimes 5 times a week, sometimes 7 times a week, but you're working out consistently, that's consistency. Perfection is something that a human cannot obtain. So you can't do it. So I think that's really important, because I think we beat ourselves up over that. No matter how many times other people tell us, like, you're doing good, just keep doing things, don't stop. So I wanted to start with that, and then kind of what I have written down is kind of going through the vital behaviors, but their consistency. So maybe in the chat, I wanted you guys to say, so if we're doing our workouts and we're drinking our shakes, if we stop and we get off track with that, which I'm sure all of us have, I've gotten sick. There's been a couple times where I've definitely fallen off. Doesn't that feel like, wait, it feels like you have to start all over, right? Like your bowel movements are all screwed up, you feel bloated, you're tired. Like, when you get off track of just those things, of that consistency, you feel it. So your business is also going to feel it. So if you're not inviting, then it's going to be like, oh, okay, I got to get back on this invitation, Yeah, so much harder, right, Daniel? Oh, Lord. So then if you move that idea into your business and say, like, I thought I was inviting, I was afraid to invite. I sent Sam, I don't even know how many different drafts of my invite. But I would say, to make Success Club, I had to work my butt for a good 3 solid months of inviting 5 to 7 days a week, and inviting probably between 5 and 10 people per time. So I know it says like a minimum of 5, and some days that's okay. Like, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. Life happens. Again, it's consistency, not perfection. But don't quit. Don't be like, oh, I did 2 yesterday and I just am on the failure train. Like, no. Don't get on that train. Stay on your consistent train and get in there and be like, okay, I only did 2 yesterday. Do I think I can get 5 done today? Like, just, it's habit, not because, yes, exactly. And I promise you, from somebody who just did not get the invite thing, I had to stumble and fall. Once you do it enough, it just becomes second nature. And you can, if you were part of Success Squad and you heard what happened to me this weekend to the girl who just like hated me for asking, I can shrug it off, and I didn't feel defeated for the rest of the day. I was like, okay, well, it's not a me thing, it's a them thing. So I also wanted to, because I feel like when I first watched these calls, not when I first, but still when I watch these calls, I'm trying to get information about certain aspects of everybody's business, and I'm always curious about invites. So I kind of broke my invites down into 3 separate categories that I just wanted to touch on as well. So there's, number 1 is like the blind invite. And so what I do with the blind invite, that is somebody who may or may not have seen my stories. I haven't noticed them posting or doing, good, Sarah, I'm glad. I haven't noticed them active on anything that I have posted, but they are following me. So I will go in and I will just say, hey, thanks for following me. So I kind of put it on them, like, you have followed me, therefore I'm going to tell you something. Do you, I don't know if you've seen, but I host monthly fit camps. I might throw in maybe one more sentence and say, do you think that would be something that you would be interested in? I loved what Madison said the other day. Have you ever thought about doing what I do? Or have you ever thought about the ability to work out from home? I like how that's worded. But that's what I send for a blind invite. And you can send like so many of those because it's copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. If you want to be, most of the time I say, hey, mama, or hey, sister. But if you want to be a little bit more into it, you can go in and find their name for every one of them. But when I'm doing a blind invite, I just try and get those out there. The second type of invite is somebody who is active either in my stories or my posts. So that I see that they're in there a few times. I see that they've commented on my posts. Typically the ones I decide to reach out to are, I'll go through and let's say my habit is to do 4 clips of my workout. So it's 1 minute long and then a photograph at the end. And so I go all the way to the photograph at the end and see who has stayed with me through my workout and then my photo. And then I find those people and I say something to the effect of like, hey, I noticed that you've been watching my stories. I really appreciate the support. Maybe something I'm sharing resonates with you. I have my actual information. I don't have it on this piece of paper, but basically then do the invite and say, would you be interested in more information about joining one of my virtual fit camps? And again, I think Brenna touched on this. Oh, it says my internet is unstable. Am I still good? Okay. So Brenna touched on this, I think, the other day, and she said, keep your invites short. And I think I totally agree with her. I would say 1 paragraph, 4 sentences. I mean, something pretty short. I know we want to like word vomit and tell everybody everything. And I definitely did in the beginning. And it's so overwhelming that people don't even know how to respond. So make it simple. I think Sam has also touched on it before, of saying like giving them like breadcrumbs so they want to know more. So when you're inviting somebody like that, I like to say, hey, I see that you're watching my stories. Thank you. But that's the second type of invite. And then the third type of invite is something I just started to do. So we'll see if it pays off. But I have, from another coach that I had seen, she posts, and she did my training at Summit too. So she posts every so often a few slides with questions to her audience that say like, would you like to see more pictures of my dogs or more of my kids? Or would you like to see more healthy recipes or more workout tips? And just people can go through and say what they want to see. And for whatever reason, people think that my recipes and my food information is great. And so I'm like, okay, I'm no chef, but I can share that info. So I've been really leaning into sharing information about food and the container system. I did go through and get certified for the Ultimate Portion Fix. So I'm like, well, I should probably use that knowledge. And I've had so many people reach out to me from that to be like, oh my gosh, I love this recipe. Thank you for sharing more of like what you're eating, that sort of thing. And then for that specific type of invite, I will see, so yesterday I did a bunch about nutrition and some other things here and there. But I invited specifically, I went in and said, hey, I saw that you watched a lot of my stories about my what I was eating and my containers. Did you have any questions about that? I might add in there that, you know, I'm certified in this type of nutrition. You have to be really careful that you do not say you're a nutritionist or that you're whatever, but you can guide people. You're more of a guide at that point. So we'll see, but I am shocked at how many people have actually like watched, reached out, and then every person I wrote and said, hey, I saw you watching my nutrition stories, they have written me back and either said, I'm looking for healthy recipes. I think you're inspirational. I am talking to another girl about, just talking about, yeah, I am too. I had pizza tonight. Not that that's bad. And I posted about it because it's not bad. And that's the great thing about this whole system. And Brenna, you almost threw me all off track with your damn donuts this morning. Sorry, earmuffs for children around. But so anyways, those are my 3 invites. So to just recap that, the blind invite, those are the ones for sure don't think about. Don't think about that. Second is somebody who's watching and engaging. Don't worry about that one either, because even the girl that wrote me this weekend was so mad at me for inviting her. She's been watching my stories forever. So it wasn't meant to be. She wasn't meant to be on my team, which is fine. And then I'm just calling this third one a unique invite because it's very specific to something that I've shared. Then I feel like for me, I had to master the invite. I had to get the emotion out of it. I had to be extremely consistent. 1 minute. Yes, ma'am?
Lola, are you gonna come and check on me?
I will, but I'm doing my call and you need to go back to bed.
Okay.
Good night, Elsa.
I know.
I thought I could get into bed. Okay, go to bed. Go.
Okay.
I love you.
Okay.
Sorry. So I had to master. So true. Both my kids, Brenda, yes, that smile is like, oh, hey, they know that I'm on this call right now. Anyways, so I had to master the invite. I had to feel comfortable with it, take away the emotion, do it consistently. And that was where I had to start because, well, I can't follow up with anybody if I haven't invited anybody. And I didn't work on initiating connections until more recently. So invites first. I feel like, I mean, you've got to start somewhere. So just start inviting. Just start inviting people. It's okay. You have to fail forward. Like you have to figure it out. I have tons of scripts saved in my phone. I'm constantly tweaking them. And some of them I really like. So I just, whatever works. Then you want to make sure you're doing the follow-up. So one thing that I realized, I was like, okay, I had really great months of inviting, I think in March and April, but I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. What is the issue? And so Sam and I talked a little bit, and it was like, well, I'm not really doing so great on following up with these people. Even people, sorry, I can see my door. I don't know if it's my dog or my child. Anyways, so I would invite them, and if they didn't say anything to me, I'd let it sit there, which is no bueno. So I have made myself a rule that I like to do it within 2 days, but I would say within 2 to 4 days of the initial invite, follow back up with them. Blame the internet, blame Instagram. I'm not sure if you got this. Some other girls have said that they didn't get my message, so I wanted to follow back up with you. And one thing I do when I'm doing follow-up is I also make sure that I go on to their page and find at least one current post and either comment or just liking doesn't seem to do a whole lot. So I try really hard to at least comment something nice or genuine on a post of theirs, because I want them to see that I'm not just trying to sell you something, I'm trying to create a relationship with you. And then once you nail those 2 things down, so it's building, right? So you're still inviting and you're still doing your follow-up. And then I'm realizing initiating connections. So I follow people and I like stuff, but I am personally not a person who comments often on anything on social media. I like things, I'll say something here and there, but I don't engage a lot. And I think that's one place where I'm like, okay, I need to be better at that. And it's been, even since I've started to put forth that effort, so many people are talking to me. I'm talking to people about swim lessons. I mean, you name it, what they are wearing with their, with their family photos or whatever it may be. And I think that helps people see that we are genuine people wanting to help you. We're not trying to sell you just a product, but this is truly about relationships. So when you're initiating connections, I try and like follow a ton of people when I can that I feel like are relevant to me, but then really working on starting conversations, sending a private message. I literally private messaged a girl today because her daughter looked like a video that had gone viral, and it wasn't her daughter, but I like had to send it to her. Anyways, it started this whole conversation. So don't feel shy about that. And it's definitely like, even like the invite, sometimes it's hard to get out of our own way, but we're all here because we want to help other people because this has helped us. So kind of have to get out of your rut. I feel like I was going to say something else about that initiating connection. Oh, one thing that I did, sometimes it's like really hard to figure out like, who do I follow? Where do I even go? I have heard the tip of like, go to somebody who you admire or you like outside of Beachbody and follow people that follow that person. So this would be a really huge name and probably a lot of people go after it. But if you really like Rachel Hollis, then go see who follows her. A even better thing I feel like you can do would be to find a post. See if you see a post that makes you laugh, a meme or whatever, from just a normal, everyday, like non-celebrity, non-Beachbody person, and go into who has also liked that meme. And chances are very good that there's going to be something similar that you have because you both liked that meme. Or go into the comments and follow the people that have commented, because again, you just by liking or commenting something that you mutually like, you have something in common. So I think that that's a really helpful way to find new people. It's only 2 pages. I hope I'm not talking too fast. My boobs are sweating a little bit. So consistency first and foremost with your shakes and your workouts, just like the vital behaviors. Second is the things on the tracker. You'll notice too, like as you initiate connections and you're following up and you're building those relationships, that also transfers into how you're contributing to your challenge group and the app and interacting with girls. I think like I sat back and would like people for a while, but now it's like I'm really trying to push and genuinely tell people how I feel, and that I'm amazed by them, because I am so amazed by so many of us on this team. It's just incredible what people can overcome, what people show up and do. Like, you may think that it's nothing, but I promise you that if you're sharing, that you're touching somebody, and even your teammates admire you. So then the last part about being consistent that I wanted to talk about is your brand. So this is where my marketing nerd comes out, so just bear with me. So if we are talking to people and we are trying to make these connections, you are a brand. You represent yourself in some way, shape, or form. So mine started with my blog, and people, you know, I had my like logo and my colors and all this stuff. And my posts are awful. They're so gross. I can't even believe that they sometimes we just have to figure it out, right? So, but with the idea of consistency and that you are in fact a brand, I think if we pick, I've heard people say pick 5 things. 5 things is really hard, even for me to come up with that I share about. But I would say 3 to 5 things that you can consistently share about that are aside from your shakes and your workouts. And, you know, nutrition maybe could be one thing where like you're doing recipes or tips and tricks, but like for me, I'm trying to lean more into sharing some of my parenting. Something with my blog that I have found out that when I share about my struggles with parenting, I really connect with a lot more people than when I share that parenting is going really well, because people don't give a shit about that. That's great. Good for you, lady. So I'm trying to like share. I have shared over time like how I try to limit my kids' screen time a little bit because it makes them a little bit bratty, or recently I'm working on, and I'm hoping to publish a new post. What is this? Is this Sam Good? Yeah, exactly. This is Sam Good. Yeah, good for you, Karen, and your perfect parenting. No one cares. I'm over here cleaning up nail polish off of my carpet. But sharing our struggles, and whether that's with parenting, if you're not a parent, maybe you're struggling with your job or whatever, sharing them once we're more through them, or we've kind of worked them out in our heads, is, I think, better. I think we can add more value there. But honestly, like, being vulnerable a little bit, I know it's hard for some people. I tend to just be like an open book chatterbox, but I also understand that there are certain things I don't share a lot about. But if there's a way that you can kind of show your heart a little bit, that attracts so many people to you. So anyways, back to the consistency part of that. You don't have to share like a struggle every day, but like just being true to who you are. For me, it's parenting. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I struggle every day. But I was trying to think of like other ideas for people. So like projects are really good ones. If you do, I know there's lots of DIY. Is that right? Yeah, DIY. I never get the acronym right. DIY stuff. Lots of people love that. I've been trying to, like, I'm not great at it, but like take before pictures before I clean up a giant mess, and then an after photo, because I think people can relate to stuff like that. If you're, maybe something that you do for your work is super interesting, or you've overcome something at work, or maybe you have a really cool project at work, that would be something really neat to share. But just find something that is specific to you, because the more you share about you and add in Beachbody, so it's just you as a whole, people will see that, oh, this isn't just like, this girl isn't just coming on here trying to sell me her shakes. She's legitimately living this life, and this is part of her life, and she seems pretty happy in what she's doing. But she also still struggles like a real person. Like, I think there's something to be said for sharing the highlights on social media, but I'm a firm believer in being real on social media too. You don't have to share your deep, dark secrets, but there's struggle in life. There's I talk about on my page, I talk about that I have anxiety. I take medication for anxiety. I tried to come off anxiety medications once I started Shakeology, thinking I got all this, and that does not work. So oh, that's so good, Tiffany. I love that. So yeah, I think being genuine, the more genuine you are, the better off you're going to be, and the less salesy you're going to come across. And then the very last thing about like your brand and being consistent is, I hear a lot about, like, well, what filter do you use, or like, how do you do this stuff? Here's my suggestion from a marketing perspective. If I am designing a brand or a logo for a client, I tell them to go find inspiration from other brands. So go find inspiration from other Instagram profiles that you love. Figure out what it is that you love about that profile. Maybe just make a quick list, and then try to mimic that in a way that is genuinely you, and go with it. Don't spend a ton of time on it. Please do not make this an all-day project. Pick some stuff, go with it. You'll tweak it along the way. But I think there is something to be said with pick something and roll with it for a little while. If you scroll through my stuff, you'll see I had this awful, like, every other post was this, I have this box and these words. I don't like it now, but it just evolved over time. And now I'm really happy with where I'm at, but I might not be in 6 months, and that's okay. But I think being consistent, people will then, again, from the marketing nerd, people start to recognize what your stuff looks like. I start to recognize, like, Sam uses a filter that's very consistent, and I know that that's her posts. And so I know it's branded to Sam. If you look at like some of the top coaches, they also have a specific filter, which is fine. Again, spend some time, look at it. Do not dive down the rabbit hole. Just find some things that you love and use that as inspiration for your own page to create your own brand. And I think that's all that I had written down. That's also, like, I guess all of that stuff is what I have done as well. I'm not just like, hey, I should tell you all these great things. That's what I have had to do. I've had to struggle through invites, totally forgotten about follow-ups, had to go back and follow up with a whole lot of people, then kind of gotten on a better track. Now figuring out how initiating connections works for me. That tracker, there's a reason that it is there. It is golden. It does hit everything that I think any business could really utilize to be successful. So keep falling forward. I promise you. Like, I don't have anybody signed up this month, but I'm going to go for Success Club 10 so I can get that bobblehead.
Well, and it's only the 6th, so there's no way you won't hit Success Club. There's no way that you all won't hit Success Club. Even if, you know what I mean, like, you just start now. And okay, so I have 2 questions, but we have time, so if anyone has a question, but I wrote down 2. Oh shit, I just threw my, sorry, it's children, just like literally threw my notepad. Okay, so I think a huge struggle that new coaches have in the beginning is inviting. So you gave 3 examples of your blind invite, and I like how you broke it down, because I have different invites for kind of who I'm talking to or what, but what, I guess, I don't know if I'm going to like articulate the question correctly, but like, what is your mindset now with inviting compared to like your mindset in the beginning? Because, okay, let me like set it up too. It was like a lot of times we're scared that we're going to bug people or come off salesy. So you kind of touched on it where it's just like, don't think, just do it. What's your mindset now that you've invited for like consistently 3 months? Probably.
Yeah. So I would say for me in the beginning, I definitely had the fear of like bothering somebody. I didn't want anybody to, I feel like every time I start something in my life, I've got some sort of hater telling me, oh, well, what about this? Or, oh, she's doing this or whatever. I'm sure we all do. But I had that in the back of my head. So I actually, in the beginning, when I really started to lean into invites, I started to go for more people that I didn't know than the people that I did. Even though I know you're supposed to start with like your warm market, I was like, I'm just gonna, these people, you know what? It's kind of that like whole thing, like if you go to the grocery store and you look like a hot mess, you're not gonna see those people again, who cares? Same sort of situation is how I felt. And then I've gotten more comfortable, one, because I feel like I've done it so much that I know better what to say without just like word vomiting on them about like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this great new problem. You drink these shakes and you get like 12 months and then you get all this and then there's a team and oh my God, we have this app, and it's like, whoa. I feel better about like starting a conversation. That was also very hard. Like, okay, I have to do an invite, but then how do I make a conversation? Like, I know you're supposed to ask a question, but I feel like I'm still getting that down, how to like move the conversation forward. And then now, as far as inviting goes, like, I constantly think back to when I was invited. I was not annoyed. I was initially like, oh great, she's gonna ask me, and she didn't. She just talked to me and slowly felt out the situation. But that I said no to, and I tried all the things, like all the things. And sometimes that's what we have to do. We can't force people to do this. One, because they'll never get the results that they want if we have forced anybody into it. And 2, people just, they have to get there. I had to get there. So I often think of that I had to go through, it works keto coffee that doesn't work. I had to go through buying a gym membership that I never used. I had to see all of the ads on Facebook about like, oh, you just do this cleanse and you lose all this body fat. I mean, I thought about cool sculpting, you name it. I have thought of it or done it. Like, and then it was like, no, this comes down to you have to put in the work if you want it to be sustainable. So I often think about that is like, I'm planting lots of seeds now. And so it doesn't feel, even if they say no, I'm not connected to it anymore.
So would you just say that you had to practice to make it not perfect, but practice to make it comfortable? Okay.
Yep.
And then
Definitely. I mean, you just have to keep going.
And then this is kind of like a national wake-up call kind of style question, but I guess I always think about how, okay, so we're here, right? Because we were in a challenge group and we felt amazing. We got like amazing physical results, or our bodies felt better. And then we started doing this business. And so my question is, how has working the business, outside of income, like how has that changed you, or that transformation come with you as Rachel, the mom, the person, through working the business?
So this is probably a little bit long of an answer, but when I started my blog, I had gone to my husband, who had said there was a whole slew of things that happened, but my husband was like, I am going to take on the finances so you can be more present with the kids, because I was trying to work 30 hours a week, 40 hours a week from home while watching kids without help, without them out of the house ever, and it was awful. So he said he had enough going on work-wise that he was going to take on financing and providing for us financially, and then I could take care of the kids. And as wonderful as that was, I wanted to do something. So I was like, I'm going to do this blog, and you can make money in these ways. I had done so much research, and I am telling you, I made no money off of my blog. I invested a lot of money into it. I've been published on Scary Mommy. It brought me nothing. I mean, it was good. It was good for me. But that felt really frustrating. And my husband would make comments every so often in a very lovingly way, but to be like, so we're spending a lot of time on the blog. And like it's stressing you out, but you're not making money off of it. And now being a coach, I feel like it's just an extension of what I wanted to share on my blog anyways, was my journey through motherhood and finding myself. And now that I have a little bit of income, we were talking a little bit of income, but I was able to go to my husband the other day and say, oh my gosh, I just got my last check, and I am at almost $600 that I have made over the last few months, which is exponentially more than I ever made with my blog. And my husband was so proud of me, and I was able to, there's little things here and there that like I treat our family out to dinner, or I just ordered, and I told you this the other day, Sam, is that I just ordered some stuff on Beachbody. I wanted to try out our leggings, and I wanted a t-shirt, and I want to try Hydrate, and then I also wanted to get a 10-pack sample of Energize, and I was able, it was like $95, and I was able to pull all of that money from my business account from just Beachbody, which like I minimalize it to myself, whereas if somebody else were to say it, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's not small. But like it was $100 that I didn't have to go find. It wasn't something I had to talk to my husband about, or I mean, because we are not living the dream here, y'all. Like, he's taking care of us financially, but we are still still paycheck, like paycheck to paycheck. There's no $1 million home over here. So yeah. Right? Yes, Megan. She did the same thing with Beach Bars. I love it. So I think the income, it feels so different from any other like position or thing that I've ever done, because I think it's the same thing that I talk about with like my physical transformation is something everybody can see, but what people can't see is what's changed inside of me. People don't see that now I don't have these medical symptoms and I'm not going through medical tests anymore because I'm feeling good. I kind of feel like the income is the same thing. Like it's just showing, it's a tangible thing that's showing that I'm helping other people and I get their messages and I see what they're doing, but the money is just that like tangible thing. Does that make sense? Did I answer what you said or did I just steer off?
No, it was so great. I also was wondering like how you feel outside of, you know, like that sense of purpose and fulfillment, if that is what you're feeling. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, definitely.
You have fulfillment. I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, no, I do. I feel so fulfilled. I feel so I don't know. It's so hard for me to put into words like Beachbody as a whole, but like the fact that it does all these amazing things, but then it also puts money into my family's pocket is like unheard of. I have never been exposed to a company like Beachbody and our whole mission. And like even when you're at Summit and you meet people, like people are so genuinely amazing. And that I get to like do this as a job, and part of my job is to take care of myself and my family and our health. Like that is, I truly don't think you will ever stumble across a company that is as genuine towards changing lives as ours is. I mean, like nonprofits, like let's be honest. I mean, but like a for-profit type of situation, it's really amazing you can make money off of doing good things.
I know. It's so, I literally signed up for a coach and I waited for this scummy to come out. I remember telling John, I keep waiting for like some guy from corporate to come out in a suit and be like, wah, we got to get our sales up or, you know, it's just something like icky. And I kept waiting and kept waiting and kept waiting. And I'm still waiting. I've never met anybody from corporate. I'm not saying every coach is perfect and says everything right. That's a different story. But anybody on the top end, corporate wise, the coach mentors, Brenda eating a breadstick. But Carl comes out in a t-shirt and sneakers, you know what I mean? Like, and the mission is clear, is that we are here to help people live more healthy and fulfilling lives. And we do that with top fitness programs, and Shakeology is a top product. And for a long time I thought, oh, you know, I was worried about the cost. And then eventually I had this mind switch that was like, people want like Prada bags and like really fancy, I don't know, cars and stuff. It's like, I want to put the good stuff in my body. So I'm not a cheap grocery store shake. Okay. I am top of the line from the jungle. Darren O'Lee is like wrestling alligators to get me my herbs to put in my shake because then I feel good. But thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions for Rachel? I know we had some in the chat and she kind of answered them, but.
Oh yeah, I tried to follow them the best that I could.
Yeah, I think you did. But if anyone has a question, you can unmute yourself. Megan, you're welcome for the comedy. Happy back to school, by the way, Megan. Oh yeah, you have little animals too. I just talked to all my friends who started back school and they got a new building, and so I taught structured autism in Arizona, and so they all got their new classes and then their new building, so it's an all new environment. And they were talking because Marco Polo is an app. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but you like face message, and they were like, oh, one kid got out. Like they just say it so like nonchalantly. I was like, if people were listening that were not like structured autism teachers, they would think we were talking about animals. Like the child just got out, ran through the yard. But anyways, so
he was running and he took off his pants. I don't know.
Yeah, normal day, normal Tuesday over here. Well, if anyone has a question for Rachel, if not, I encourage after a team call to go on your stories or if I know East Coast is a little bit later, but to share what you feel after a story, like, and I'm going to post when we're done this, just in the team page, like things how to talk about coaching. And if you anybody is welcome to add people to coach_boldly this weekend. But you can do a coach sneak peek on your Instagram stories every single day. And when we get off of these calls, like sometimes we think like, oh, I haven't made this, or I haven't had the, the 100-pound transformation or $1 million or something like that. But the feeling that we feel when we get off these calls, the feeling that I had when I left Summit, or when I got to Summit and I met everybody, or on the national wake up call, like Miguel, if you have not listened to Miguel's national wake up call from 2 weeks ago, that needs to be like on your to do for tomorrow morning. But like this feeling that we get, like we have that feeling. And so sometimes we forget that there was a time in our lives where we didn't have that. And so saying this feeling of almost like this warmth and cozy comfort from our team, which is so kind of weird, but it's the only way I can put it into words, is that when we all like collab and talk, I get this like feeling of happiness come over my body. Other people don't have that. And so it doesn't matter if you've made $1 million if you feel like crap, but it matters that we get off these calls and it's like, these are like my friends from Instagram that were like building this incredible thing, like is more powerful than anything else. So get off your stories and just share how you feel a little bit on your Instagram stories for me. And I'll post that suggestion. And my challenge to the team is every single day this week, for a whole week, I guess. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah, 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 is to share about coaching either on your Instagram stories or a post in words. I sometimes do better on either one. Sometimes I write a great post and other times they're mediocre, and I'm better talking on my Instagram stories. So have it be a goal of once a day on either or to talk about a different element of coaching and why you love it and why you took the jump or whatever it is. Because the seeds that you plant now will flourish later. And that's for coaching too, not just for challenge groups. So we have to plant those seeds. But I think that's it. So we can do our picture. Hold on. Okay, Megan, would you like to come back? Thank you. And Julie, I'm so sorry. When I get really good at editing one day, I'll like put faces on. But smile. Oh, this is such a good one. Should we boomerang? All right, let's boomerang. Are you talking? Are people talking smack? What's happening? You're all laughing, and I'm not looking. Okay, boomerang in 3, 2, 1. Brenda, it looks like you're smoking. I don't want to. It's not really what we're going for. I don't want to tell you. I can stop the recording. Hold on.